Welcome to, or welcome back to, the Agatha May Detective Agency. I'm Agatha May, and I'm so glad you're here for another episode in the Charity Beallis case. This will be our final in our series for a while, at least until there's movement in her case. And this is a short episode, but I'll have more as the case unfolds. Tonight, we're going to look at the death of Charity and her twins on December 3rd, 2025, at their home in Bonanza, Arkansas. If you need to catch up on the case, I'll have a link to the playlist in the description box below. Paid memberships are a way to directly support my work and help me keep bringing these stories to light. Thank you for making it possible. Charity Beallis was born in 1985 in Arkansas. She gave birth to her son John in 2002 at the age of 17, and then married Garris Hadabaugh. Charity graduated from the University of Arkansas at Fort Smith in February of 2011, and by April of that year, Garris and Charity were divorced. She married Randall Beallis in May of 2012, divorced him in November of that same year, and then remarried him in 2015. She gave birth to their twins in 2019. In February of 2025, Randall was arrested for domestic battery. According to the complaint, he had choked Charity. The fight started because Randall was insisting on looking through Charity's phone, and the police report indicated that according to Randall at the time, he had pushed Charity against the wall, shoved her into the sink, chased her outside, and grabbed her phone. He would later plead guilty to a misdemeanor charge of domestic battery, even though the original charge was a felony. In our episode about Randall, we talked about how he had lied to the medical board about that day. And I've recently learned that he also lied to the medical board about the day that he and Charity stabbed her son's tires. He told the medical board that he was only there to calm things down, that he could tell it was going to get out of hand. Well, you lying piece of clammy slime. There is literally a video of him stabbing the tires. That's not usually how things are calmed down. But has the medical board done anything about Randall and his multiple lies? Nope. They still aren't discussing his actions or disciplining him in any way. In the few months before her death, Charity's Facebook page told of her struggles. In June 2025, she made this post, quote, "I was married to a man who wore a mask so well the world believed him, while behind closed doors, I was being torn down emotionally, spiritually, financially, and physically. I lost myself fighting for peace in a house built on manipulation, lies, abuse, and control." End quote. In August of 2025, she posted an article that started with this eerily portentous statement. If a woman's partner has ever strangled her even once, her risk of being murdered by that same partner with a gun shoots up 750% compared to a woman who has never been strangled. She also made several posts about narcissists and the mind games you have to endure when you're living with one. And on November 30th, 2025, Charity's final post was a photo of her and her twins. And I saw someone complain that the photo of her son shouldn't be used because he has his finger up his nose. As a grandmother of a soon-to-be 5-year-old grandson, I think this photo perfectly captures a 6-year-old boy. And obviously, Charity loved the photo enough to share it with her friends and family. On December 2nd, 2025, Charity was in court for the final hearing in her divorce against Randall Beallis. The next morning, she and her twins were found deceased from gunshot wounds. And I've tried not to think of what it was like for those babies that day. I just can't imagine what kind of monster it takes to purposely shoot a child, much less two. According to statements made by Charity's family, she had been shot in the chest and then in the head. So if these investigators come back with her manner of death as self-inflicted, I'm going to throw things. The next day, Randall's attorney filed a motion to have the divorce set aside. And this might be so he wouldn't have to give up any assets that he was going to lose in the divorce. According to a neighbor of Charity's, 2 days after the bodies were discovered, Randall was seen driving Charity's car and was going back and forth to her house. And this was around the same time that a woman going through a dumpster at the apartment complex where Randall lived found some of Charity's belongings in the dumpster, belongings that would have come from Charity's house. The items included a necklace that had each of Charity's children's names on it, and I don't think that's something she would have carelessly lost or thrown away. Whoever dumped her belongings in that dumpster had to have been someone who had been at her house. And I know a lot of us think that surely Randall wouldn't be dumb enough to throw away incriminating evidence at his own apartment complex, but his intelligence really doesn't have to come into question here. The question to ask is he that egotistical? Egotistical enough to think that he's the smartest man in the room so he won't get caught. On December 17th, 2025, Charity's son John filed to be the administrator of her estate. He was awarded that, and now the estate is in probate. Last month, a newspaper announcement was taken out that reads, quote, "The undersigned was appointed as administrator of the estate of the above-named decedent on the 17th day of December 2025. All persons having claims against the estate or claiming to be an heir of the decedent must exhibit same duly verified to the undersigned within 6 months from the date of the first publication of this notice, or they shall be forever barred and precluded from any benefit in the estate. This notice first published on the 14th day of January 2026." End quote. And it will take some time to see how the estate is eventually decided on. Charity's body was given to her son, and she was cremated, and the family will have a private interment. The children's bodies were given to Randall, and there has been nothing public about what kind of arrangements were made for them. Whatever happened, they won't be buried with their mother, and I think that was a final act of malice towards Charity. According to the sheriff's department, there have been numerous search warrants executed, but there have been no updates on the case from the authorities since December. At the end of January, Randall's attorney, Michael Pierce, said that, quote, "We believe Sebastian County will be able to release their findings from the investigation in February 2026. I'm not sure how Michael would know that, but as of this episode, there have been no further announcements made about the murder of Charity Beallis and her children. Thank you so much for being here. I'll have updates in this case as we learn more. I'm currently working on a new episode of Laced and a new episode of 12 Unsolved Massachusetts. Until next time, stay safe and be happy.